Hello, I'm Jashykins, and welcome to my best of 2013 video, which might turn out to be more than one part. Anyways, you might be wondering, hey Jashykins, why isn't this like how you usually do your best of lists? It's, I'm not sitting on my couch with all my little chill kitties, which I guess some of you have called stuffies around me. It's because of the video editing problem. Luckily, it turns out it might be solved because you can ask me about it. It doesn't really concern this video here. What concerns this video is what I consider the best movies of 2013. Now, you might wonder, if you haven't watched me for a long time, that, hey, when are you getting out your worst of 2013, or has it already come out? I don't do worst of just because I usually don't see a lot of movies, and indeed this year I saw a little bit more, but that's not saying much. I didn't have enough for worst of. The only movie I hated was Jobs. Whereas you can watch my vlogs about it, but it sucked. But anyways, before I get onto the main list, let's talk about, the runners-up, the ones that were great, were good, but just didn't make the cut. The first honorable mention is Thor: The Dark World. This was a great film. I, of course, liked Tom Hiddleston being back as Loki and Loki being his mischievous self. I liked Natalie Portman and her role of Jane. I liked Thor. And it was all around a very enjoyable movie. It was good. I liked the effects, and then I also watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I got to see a little tie-in with that, but it was like not as big of hype as, the makers of the show wanted you to believe. It was like, hey, there's an Asgardian staff. Ta-da. And here's the chaos caused by the second Thor movie. Ta-da. The other one, which is an honorable mention, is The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug. Now, as many of my longtime viewers and readers know, I just don't like the idea of The Hobbit being split up into 3 movies. This isn't because I'm like some purist. It's the fact that The Hobbit is shorter than any of the Lord of the Rings movies. And yet it's being made into 3 films. However, I love Benedict Cumberbatch's performance as Smaug, I think that's the correct way to say it. And I know what some of you are thinking, oh, didn't he only voice it? No, he did the motion capture too, and he actually studied up on, reptiles, how they moved. And so it was a good movie on its own. But the fact is, it's an adaptation, and the whole Hobbit trilogy by Peter Jackson is just a cash grab that I'll have to see each movie in theaters, but I hate myself for seeing it, so I can't put it on the top 5. Now, this is usually like when the opening would play, but I don't really want to do that. Pretend the opening is playing. Woo. I can't wait till the video editing problems fix. I so fucking can't wait. My Twitter will be exploding with, yay, the editing problem's fixed. But anyways, at number 5, I have Star Trek Into Darkness. Now, I think I've heard 1 or 2 mentions of people considering this the worst Star Trek movie of all time. So, you know, if something's really hated by a fandom, that usually just means I'm gonna love it. And I know Khan being whitewashed is horrible. Some of the sexism with, I think, Dr. Marcus or whatever, like, her shot of her just being in her underwear is kept in, while Khan's shot of being naked in the shower is cut. Is wrong. But it was really an enjoyable movie. The special effects were good, even though Khan was whitewashed, and I would have preferred, you know, some POC character having the part. The fact is that Benedict Cumberbatch was fucking creepy as Khan. And I, after seeing, Star Trek Into Darkness, I eventually did see the original Wrath of Khan. Long, amusing story there that you can ask me about. And yeah, I like both Khans, and Benedict Cumberbatch did a good job in his part. Then Simon Pegg, and then Carl Urban. No, just good actors in there. And the whole sort of theme of sort of being the dangers of going too far, which is really a sort of theme in science fiction that I like. It's not just, to me, science isn't just what we can do, but should we do it? And so I like Star Trek Into Darkness, and I really can't wait to see if J.J. Abrams does another Star Trek movie. Of course, he's going into Star Wars, so it'll be interesting there. Not just interesting to see what he does, but to see how the two fandoms clash. I'm more of a Star Wars girl, but I just like watching fandom chaos no matter what. I don't care. Number 4 is The Hunger Games Catching Fire. I love The Hunger Games. I adored the books. And the whole reason I wanted the movies to do well was because I want to see Mockingjay on the big screen, and Mockingjay is going to be broken up into 2 parts because that's the new big thing, break things into 2 parts to get more money. But with The Hunger Games Catching Fire, this story from the first movie is expanded upon. And I like Katniss Everdeen, not because she's a girl that doesn't really need a man and that can put her emotions aside. It's that she's basically a hero that doesn't choose to be a hero and doesn't really consider herself to be a hero and just basically dragged in. And indeed, in this movie, she's again dragged in because of what happened from the first film. She has to deal with that. And true, I did not like that District 13 is not being pushed as much in the films, even though for the last 2 films it's going to be a big fucking part. And I won't say if you're going to see District 13 or if it's just going to be a plot point, I won't say, but it's going to be extremely important, so I didn't like that. But Catching Fire, there were more than one instances where I got teary-eyed. I did not mark it down as a movie I cried in because crying means full-flooded tears, inhuman noises coming from my mouth, and that's why I consider crying, though I do get teary-eyed, and I guess like some people would consider that crying, but not crying, but definitely a bunch of moments, like when the Jabberjay scenes, I was sort of cringing, and then when PETA says it's not real, it sort of reminds me of something that happens later in the books that I won't spoil for you, but it's totally heartbreaking. And I'm going to continue this little series in the next vlog, which I'll do in a minute. Yay! Wherever the hell my hand is.